Okay, hi everybody. Okay, this is this is supposed to be week four first lecture. Okay, this is considered as a week four Tuesday lecture. Okay, and this one here, I think last on week three we've explained more or less on resources. So there are many types of resources that are available in engineering projects. Okay, and I also very specifically mentioned that human resources is one of the major resources, and it can be divided into management, which is what we call the supervisory level kind of cost, or supervisory level kind of people involved. And then we also have the labor, and labor is the direct people who are going to be involved on site, using their hands, using their skills to build the project, let it come from scratch. You see, these are the resources list that are available. Okay, so staffing will be considered as management. So looking at project staffing, which is the management team, and then we have the labor, okay, which is the tradesman skill. Site supervisory team, I really should be putting up here with the management, okay, so which include site supervisors, okay, right. Okay, so I think that this notes has already been posted in the week 3 sections, so please by all means change that particular thing that I've just changed here. Okay, so site supervisory teams are actually under management. Alright, so then you have all the semi-skilled, skilled, unskilled general workers, that material. You've got the temporary, you've got the permanent material consumables, then you've got the machineries, facilities, which is equipment. Equipment are usually something smaller. Plant and machineries are usually bigger. Okay, and then you also have other organizational resources. This is what we call indirect cost. Okay, so these are the very important resources, subcontractors as well, that you have, okay, in your resources list. Okay, so based on this resources list, okay, what we're going to do is you need to understand the availability of these resources that you have. Okay, so material tools are the material bit is actually very simple. It's very straightforward. You can actually get it from drawing. You just be very careful with the quantity takeoff, and that should be fine. Okay, then after that, the harder one will be like laborer. Management team is also quite fixed. Okay, subcontractor is also fixed by the subcontractor contract that you have with them. Is also quite fixed, the scope of work, and then the amount of time that they're going to take, and how much they're going to cost. You see, so the harder one will be machineries. Usually machinery is very hard to manage because, like I said, it takes some skills to do that. And the labor on site is also difficult because these are people who are based on time. So what is the amount of labor and machineries that you're going to be putting on site is highly dependent on the availability of all these resources that you have. So it is always important that you understand your resources data. So meaning that you understand, you can list down what is available to you, like what sort of budget that is available to you, so you can actually estimate, the amount of people that you want to put on the site, and also the amount of machineries and tools and plants and equipments that is available to you. So this one is usually, it will be upon discussion with your headquarters, meaning that with your project administration office, that they will actually allocate certain amount of resources for your project. Okay, but that amount is something that is pretty much fixed because that's what you have, honestly. Okay, and then, or you may already have a team of people that is always with you and all that, so you actually can make necessary arrangements. So what we do is we will put these resources data in a sheet. Okay, it's in a proper resources table. We call it resources table. I'm going to show you what does a resources table can look like actually. Let me see, give me some more here in Excel worksheet. Okay, so you can actually have an Excel worksheet like this. Okay, and inside there you will put down material, labor, machineries. Then you can split up into different category of materials. So of course, before you actually do this, you can actually list down whatever you have, so let's say you've got one crane, and you've got like two excavator, you've got one loader, you've got one lorry, for example. So you can list it down first, okay? So then when you have that list, okay, so you can have a main list first with what you have, and then after that you will actually input that into this sort of Excel worksheet, okay, with material, subcontractor, suppliers, labor, machinery. So you can split up into as many categories as you want to, especially if you need to, if it's a very big project and you need to have more detail. And when we do that, okay, this is our resources data sheet, okay, and when you do that, it's also called, you can also call it like a resources labor. Sorry, not resources labor. It's called resources table. So this resources table, it will be actually versus against your work breakdown structure. So I will explain that a little bit more later on. So when you do this resources table based on the work that you have, you're actually inputting the amount that you need. Resources data sheet is the amount that you have actually that is available to you, but it's not necessarily what you need, you see. So these resources that are tables that you have, that you can do, or resources sheet that you can do, you can actually, these are the ones that you are expecting to use for the project. So from here, you're saying, okay, piling, I need what major equipment, what minor equipment. So you list it down, okay? So list it down, and then at the end of every sheet, you will have a summary sheet of what you need. And especially with labor and machineries, they are very much time-based. So it means that you only keep a certain amount of these resources on your site. It's not like if you work that all alone, you don't add it up. That's what I'm trying to say. Material, yes, you add it up, okay, but machinery and labor, you don't add it up. It's basically based on the timeline. So because of basing it on the timeline, so meaning that the first batch of machines is going to be used for 1 month, and then it may be shifted to month 2, month 3, month 4. So the amount is actually the same, but it's just being used over a different period of time. So basically, these resources, we will use a technique of resources histogram, which is actually versus resources versus time, okay? So then from there, you will do analysis by keeping the right amount of resources on site, and then duplicate that amount across the board. So then you will actually see the comparison between your resources data that you have and your resources table that you have, you see. So when you have this resources table, you see, when you have this resources table versus the resources sheets, then you are actually going to compare, like I say, what you have and what you need, you see. So then it's a very good way actually to determine do you have enough, you see. So then this is really on resources management, okay. So all these are actually what we call resources management, okay. So understanding your resources, and then after that putting them into an organized format, okay, and understanding what you have and what you need, and then finding a compromise somewhere, or you need to bring in other resources from other departments or other resources from other projects that you have. So we call it multiple project management, multiple project resources management. So this is a very interesting topic, that's why I believe that you all should learn, because you are dealing with a lot of amount of resources on site. So I need you to do an assignment on this, okay? An assignment that tells you that you find a project of about 15 to 20 work available in the project, about 10 major work, and then some smaller internal work, and then second level work, and then you do your resources, and I need you to do your resources table, what you need and what you have and all that, okay? So I will explain that, the assignments, the next in some of the recordings I'm going to give you this week, okay?